Upon hearing Zhao Jianhua's words, a smile slowly transformed on Zhang Yi's lips. Finally, the moment arrived. Just as predicted, in the city of Amami, the four major powers always harbored contradictions without any unity. It could be said that as long as the benefits were substantial enough, they were ready to betray each other. Whether it was the Qingpu faction or Baixue, they were both waiting for opportunities to betray each other. Now, whoever could bring greater benefits would receive their assistance. Zhang Yi felt more reassured. The more conflicts among them, the higher Zhang Yi's chances of winning the upcoming battle. Su Qinlei asked, "So, you mean Baixue might not join this attack against us?" But unexpectedly, Zhao Jianhua shook his head. If that were the case, it wouldn't be called cooperation. Our Baixue aims for love and peace, resolutely opposing all evil forces. Therefore, our sect leader hopes to cooperate with you to resist the remaining forces. At this moment, Zhang Yi's gaze became sharper. Baixue indeed harbored great ambitions, they even wanted to ally with him to counter other forces. Zhang Yi had also heard Yang Xinxin say that Baixue was constantly in conflict with other forces, ceaselessly embroiled in disputes. If they had the chance to attack other forces, they would certainly not miss it. Zhao Jianhua continued, "We, Baixue, are just like you, without a background or support. Other forces fear our rise. We are similar, all of us are oppressed by other forces, affecting our survival needs. We should join forces against the dominance of those forces." Zhang Yi said. "You need to prove your sincerity if you want to cooperate." Zhao Jianhua smiled upon hearing the question. "Our sect leader knows that Mr. Zhang Yi is cautious. Without substantial evidence of our sincerity, we cannot make you trust in Baixue's sincerity. So this time I've come to present you with a relic of Baixue sect, a certainty that you will understand our intentions." Zhao Jianhua then produced a small wooden box from his person and handed it to Su Qinlei. "This is the relic of Baixue sect, the ice crystal." Su Qinlei, fearing danger, hesitated to accept. Zhang Yi then asked him what this item was used for. The name sounded mysterious, but its function was unknown to anyone. After Su Qinlei inquired, Zhao Jianhua smiled in response. "The function of the ice crystal is quite simple. It can awaken superhuman abilities. It can transform an ordinary person into a mutant, and for mutants, it can further tap into their potential, making them even stronger. Mr. Zhang Yi, I remember you've been in the city of Amami for quite some time, surely you must have heard of this," Zhao Jianhua added. In Zhang Yi's eyes gleamed a look of astonishment. Could this be the miraculous ability akin to Yuan Kongye's? Zhang Yi recalled a member of the Shishan base mentioning that the ice crystal was a white block resembling snow, which, when inserted into a person's body, could grant them powers. Zhao Jianhua had once advised Uncle Vu to use it, but he had refused. Zhang Yi smirked cunningly. "Ha ha, using this to make me believe? Zhang Yi never believes in free lunches in this world. Using some object to attain powers surely isn't ordinary. Do you think I'll believe your supernatural tales? Has anyone discovered any side effects of this so-called ice crystal?" Su Qinlei quickly conveyed Zhang Yi's words. However, Zhao Jianhua remained calm and smiled. He seemed to have anticipated Zhang Yi's skepticism. The ice crystal is a sacred object, undoubtedly with no side effects. I can assure you of that, because you isn't the first to receive it. Previously, all 4 bases in the city of Amami have requested it from us. They have all verified it. Still, you don't trust? These words astonished Zhang Yi. What? All 4 bases have used it? Uncertain whether Zhao Jianhua was speaking truthfully or deceitfully, Zhang Yi turned to Yang Xinxin for clarification. Yang Xinxin pulled out her laptop and quickly began investigating. Indeed, she found information related to the ice crystal. There was actual data on it. The first group of mutants from the Shishan base, 2 of whom awakened their powers thanks to the ice crystal. It was through this method of awakening powers that they began researching human transformations. Suddenly, Yang Xinxin paused. She was quite surprised. According to reports from the Shishan base, it seemed that the ice crystal originated from cells on the human body. Zhang Yi immediately understood the significance of this information. What was called the ice crystal was actually the cells of Yuan Kongye. It was no wonder the Shishan base had once implanted mutant cells into others to create mutants. Zhang Yi cautiously asked if this item had any side effects. Yang Xinxin replied, according to the records, all 4 major bases have experimented with Baixue's ice crystal to create mutants. They studied these cells and found no harmful substances. Yang Xinxin exclaimed, if this record is true, then the ice crystal is surely a good thing. Zhang Yi looked out the window in silence, pondering. A good thing, indeed? It could turn ordinary people into mutants without facing the risk of death, or it could help mutants unleash their potential. Zhang Yi couldn't believe there was something so good, even if it were real, it would surely have side effects. And even if there were no side effects, Zhang Yi wouldn't dare to use it because he always used the deepest suspicion to judge everything unclear. Zhang Yi narrowed his eyes coldly and inquired, asking him if this toy could be used by ordinary people. Zhang Yi thought to himself, I don't believe there's anything good about it, even if there is, there will definitely be side effects. After Su Chunlei asked, Zhao Jianhua replied, its effectiveness depends on the potential of each individual, so it varies. We have tested and found that when used on ordinary people, it only has mild effects, but it can certainly provide some extraordinary abilities. Therefore, using it on mutants is most appropriate. Zhang Yi didn't hesitate to respond immediately. Alright, since you brought this thing from afar, I'll take it. Su Chunlei took it. He would consider using it later. Su Chunlei accepted it. He would consider using it later. Zhao Jianhua didn't hesitate to hand the item to Su Chunlei. Su Chunlei noticed Zhao Jianhua's relaxed demeanor and couldn't help but ask, aren't you afraid that we might refuse to cooperate with Bai Xue? It seems you're being quite generous. Zhao Jianhua smiled mischievously. Regardless, when the major forces unite to attack, we can't change the outcome. Even if we can't cooperate directly, strengthening you to eliminate more enemies is still beneficial for us, without a doubt. Su Chunlei thought to himself, this old man really knows how to calculate. Zhang Yi continued to inquire, I understand that you want to use us to weaken other strongholds. But what is your purpose in cooperating? Clearly, you're not just here to claim benefits. Zhao Jianhua replied, by then, we will pretend to attack your hideouts along with them. Of course, our attack will be superficial. We'll stay nearby without directly engaging. Once they expose vulnerabilities, we'll strike from behind. After hearing Zhao Jianhua's words, Zhang Yi silently thought, truly a cunning group. Bai Xue's schemes are exceptionally subtle. Their words make it seem like they're not involved, waiting for Zhang Yi and the others to fight it out before swooping in to reap the benefits. Furthermore, whether they intervene or not depends on how Zhang Yi and his group perform. If Zhang Yi and his group are swiftly defeated by the alliance, Bai Xue will pretend to be oblivious. This plan truly resembles a game of strategic manipulation. Zhang Yi and his group have no choice but to accept, as having a potential ally is certainly a better option than facing an enemy alone. Having thought it over, Zhang Yi spoke, I understand. If that item truly proves effective, I will agree to your proposal. Zhang Yi decided to test the ice crystal's effectiveness before making a decision. Zhang Yi replied coldly, the most difficult battle is the one we're currently fighting. What more do you want? Zhao Jianhua hastily waved his hand, you misunderstand us. We don't need anything from you. We only hope that after winning this battle, you'll allow Bai Xue to proselytize within your territory. For Bai Xue, attracting more followers under the light of the snow deity is something we always desire. Zhang Yi thought to himself, proselytizing indeed suits the style of a dark Dao sect. It's not just about converting people, is it? Zhang Yi had no objections. He only cared about not compromising his own interests. Other matters were of no concern to him. Zhang Yi's philosophy was to worry less about others' affairs. Moreover, with Zhang Yi's personality, he had no time to worry about Xishan, the River Nu, and other areas. He said, as long as we can succeed in pushing back the enemy, none of the conditions you mentioned will be a problem. Zhao Jianhua was very pleased. Then we'll await your answer. At this moment, Zhang Yi understood more clearly. Initially, he thought that after defeating the Xishan stronghold, they would easily become targets of other forces. But now, everything seemed to revolve around Zhang Yi, causing conflicts among other forces. The Qingpu base was cautious and not in a hurry to expand. This was related to their conservative leader being a steelworker. Although Bai Xue was small, its potential for development was immense, fueled by determination. Zhaoyu base and the Yangqing base were eager to expand, while other forces remained unclear. Zhang Yi thought to himself that currently, the Qingpu base maintained a neutral stance, presenting an opportunity to avoid interference. Bai Xue's sect wanted to cooperate to betray other forces. Zhang Yi smiled with hidden meaning, the situation was becoming more interesting by the day. While he didn't entirely trust these two forces, causing them to betray Zhaoyu and Yangqing with reasonable benefits wouldn't be too difficult. When that time came, it wouldn't be an alliance of forces besieging Zhang Yi, but rather Zhang Yi taking the initiative to attack. He would combine with internal allies to strike a powerful blow against them. However, what Zhang Yi found most intriguing at the moment were the two ice crystals. Su Chunlei asked, Boss, how should we handle this? Su Chunlei held a small wooden box, feeling a bit anxious, fearing it might contain a bomb. Zhang Yi reassured, don't worry. Bring it here. Su Chunlei carefully brought the wooden box to Zhang Yi's doorstep and then stored it into the spatial anomaly. Whether it was a spy device or explosive, the spatial anomaly could handle it well. Zhang Yi only saw two spherical, white glowing ice crystals emitting cold air and occasionally moving gently. After confirming everything, Zhang Yi opened the wooden box to inspect it, finding nothing unusual. Observing and contemplating, Zhang Yi wondered, are these the ice crystals?